everyone, this is Alpha, and I'm here with a Minecraft tutorial video. This is a video response to Generic B, who created an item elevator tutorial for Minecraft 1.5. So as you can see, I'm in Minecraft 1.5, the pre-release, and I've created an elevator in response to his challenge. If you haven't seen his video, basically he came up with a 2x4 item elevator that wasn't quite 100% efficient, meaning a couple items were lost in transit. And I believe the other design he had was a 3x4, and that was 100% efficient. And he basically challenged people to come up with a more compact or 100% efficient 2x4 design. And so I've been through many iterations of designs with varying degrees of success, and this is the final one that I came up with. It is a 1x4 design. I guess I'll start with a demonstration. So we'll do a full stack of redstone blocks, and we'll go all the way up to the top of the tower, which is at the height limit. I've tested this about a couple dozen times, and it has not once failed. So it's definitely 100% efficient, and I would guess that this is a much taller elevator than most people will ever have a use for. So items are already pouring in, which is great. I'll wait for that to finish. Meanwhile, I'll just show you the design around the back. So as I said, it's a 1x4. It's on its side purely because the lights are powered without any additional wiring. They are just kind of a benefit of this particular design. You don't really need to build it that way, and you can build it outwards if that fits your space better, but I like this version better because you can see each item coming up. I think it's pretty cool. If we come around the back here, though, you can see there's only one repeater and 2 redstone torches for every 2 droppers. It's very resource friendly and doesn't take up much space. Since it's only 1 thick, you could easily hide it behind a 3 thick wall in your base or whatever, which I think is pretty cool. It's also completely silent. Any of the item elevators that kind of rely on clocks or multiple pulses to get all the items to the top are very loud. Basically what's happening is the droppers are being triggered when there are no items in them, and they make a clicking sound. This design doesn't use any pulses that aren't necessary, and so it doesn't click. It's very silent. There we go, we just finished. Let's check inside this. Oops. Check inside the chest. There. All 64 redstone blocks. Just as expected. So it works great. I guess I'll give you an example of how it works. Be right back. Alright guys, we're back at the bottom, and I'll just give you an example of how this all works. First, I want to show you how I got it so thin. Basically, the principle is how these droppers, there we go, and repeaters interact. So I don't know if this is a redstone glitch. I'm not really a redstone expert or anything like that. But when you use a repeater or a comparator, for that matter, to power this dropper, the one above it will also get power. And I'm not exactly sure why that all works, but it does. So for example, if we put in a redstone block in this bottom one, there's nothing in the top, and we give this repeater power, it pops out the top. So it actually managed to traverse both these droppers and come out the top, instead of just going from this one to this one. And that's basically the principle that allows us to move them up without having to have a second row of anything. So yeah, so the design is very simple, but beyond that, I'm sure you can notice from this that it's basically just some redstone stairs and then repeaters every second dropper. So that's all we're doing, really. The base is the only slightly more complicated part, and that's relatively simple as well. So all we have to do is get this repeater powered by this redstone torch. Then we'll put a block on top of that to start our staircase. And then if we go up like this, we'll continue the staircase, or we'll try to. Come on. Oh man. Can you tell I don't use creative much? There we go. And let's just do one more for good measure. So that'll get us a few more of these. Oh yeah, my bad. And there. Great, so we've got our staircase going. Now all we need basically is the repeaters. So we just add those to every second dropper, like so. And really, that's the most complicated part. Just do that a bunch of times. And there you have it. I mean, that's the essentials of all this. So let's do the base now, because that's the more complex part. So we want this to trigger anytime there's an item in this bottom dropper. We don't care how many there are. Just if there are any items whatsoever, we want to give power to the bottom dropper. So basically we're just doing a big loop, but because of the staircase, which is inverting the signal, we have to invert it again. So we're just going to put a block right next to the comparator and a redstone torch coming off of that, and by putting some redstone dust between the two, we've inverted it twice, which means this repeater will be off when this comparator is off, and it'll turn on when this comparator is on. So if we put a block in right now, ta-da, it works. I don't know where that block went there. Oh, there it is. So that's the basics of how to power it. It's very simple. It just uses one comparator, and it basically starts this chain reaction. So the next part that we have to worry about is getting items into the dropper. So I'll just come around here. As you can see, I have multiple hoppers feeding into this bottom dropper. You don't really need multiple hoppers. I've just done that so that I could bring this chest out away from the wall, and so that it could be embedded into the floor. But it's all kind of for aesthetics. You could easily just have a chest right there feeding into that first hopper, and that would be fine. I just wanted to get rid of that ugliness. So let's go back over here and put a hopper on here. So this is kind of the more conventional approach, is to have all the wiring and whatever to be behind the chest. But I like to have it like this, so that all the wiring is kind of sideways. So that if this is a wall, it's much more narrow rather than going farther back. Because I think that makes more sense. But it's up to you. You can hook it up however you want. It's pretty simple to rewire. You just have to kind of fool around with the placement of things a bit more. So I'm just going to hook up these two droppers. I'm not going to do the full floor and everything, but just these two in a chest. So everything from this chest is going to go into this hopper, and then into this hopper, and then into this dropper. But we don't want this dropper to fill up with items before it's ready to fire another one, because that will clog the system. And I don't mean the items will get lost in the system. At the bottom here, if this is constantly full with items, it will stop pulsing, and it'll basically stop the entire elevator from working. So that's pretty important, but very simple. We just have a repeater attached to this, and that'll power it to lock the hopper, and that means it won't be feeding any items in here. And we just hook that up with some redstone dust to here. So when there are items in this dropper, this comparator will power this block, which will invert this redstone torch, which will in turn turn on this redstone torch, which will give power to these repeaters, which will power this dropper and power this hopper. However, lag spike. However, one of the problems I had when I initially made this design was that the items were going too fast, and about 99% of the time they would make it to the top. So out of a stack, you'd probably have 63 make it there. But to get 100% efficiency, it was very important to add this. This is a pulse extender. So when the redstone signal comes out of the, get a better view here, the torch there, I don't know if you can quite see that, but it's there. There we go. And powers these repeaters. The left repeater that is powering the dropper, that can turn off immediately. We don't care about that. We only really care about this one. We cannot have the hopper loading items into that dropper before it's ready, basically. We need to make sure there's enough room in the chain so that the items don't get caught in a dropper together, because then they'll get lost. And it won't clog the system. They'll keep trying to make it up, but you might lose one or two items. So to get 100% efficiency, we're going to add a redstone torch right here. And we're going to bring some redstone dust out from there and add a repeater, and then finish off the loop of redstone dust. So basically when this gets power, it powers this immediately, but there's also a signal going around that gets delayed by this repeater and goes back to here. Now it's very important that you right click on this once to give it a 2-tick delay. I think that's 2 ticks, I could be wrong. If I am, tell me in the comments. But that basically keeps this hopper powered for longer and makes the system run at 100% efficiency. So, but that's pretty much it. After you've handled the loading, and after you've handled the triggering, and handled this pulse extension, you're ready. So if I put something in here now, let's put a few. There they go. And of course they're just spewing out the top right now, but they're all working. So that's exactly what we want. So if you wanted to dress this up, you could add lights like I have. It's very easy to hide it behind a wall, so you could do that. Let me show how that's done. There we go. So basically we've just lifted up the chest a little bit so that we can have a floor, and moved it out so that we can fit a wall in here with a little bit of space. And if you want to use redstone lamps, it's very easy to do. Basically, anywhere that this repeater is, it's powering it's powering 2 droppers, and if we also add this redstone lamp, it will power those as well. There's no extra wiring needed at all. It'll just do it on its own. And if I throw something in there, you can see it. So very simple, lines up with the wall perfectly, which is great. Just use some quartz because it's gorgeous. Ooh. And you can bring out this as well, since there's since the wiring is so low on the very top item, you can easily make the floor flush for the top chest as well, which is great. And there you have it. That's the basics of the system. If we put these in here, it's a very short elevator, but it's very easy to add extra levels. It doesn't rely on adding extra delays down at the bottom. It doesn't rely on multiple pulses, which should mean it produces less lag, but it is still a bit laggy just because of this elevator and all the repeaters. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's very simple, very easy to remember, very compact. If you like this, leave a like or a comment, and feel free to subscribe. I'll try and upload more videos like this in the future, and I may start a Let's Play at some point, so keep your eye out for that. Thanks. This has been Alpha with a Minecraft tutorial video in 1.5.